President Trump says he's planning to visit Florida very soon following Hurricane Irma. Today, addressing his response to the vicious back-to-back storms that his administration has had to deal with.
These are storms of catastrophic severity, and we're marshaling the full resources of the federal government to help our fellow Americans in Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Texas, Louisiana, Tennessee, and all of those wonderful places and states in harm's way.
For more now on the president's response to the storms and the rest of the Trump agenda, we're joined tonight by Kellyanne Conway, counselor to President Trump. Kellyanne, great to have you with us.
Hi, Lou.
What an extraordinary 2 weeks it's been for America and for the people of Texas and primarily the state of Florida. The response by this administration has been extraordinary, and the national left-wing media has not hesitated to shower plaudits on all of you for the great response on behalf of Americans who are victims of these two massive storms, have they?
Well, some have resisted the temptation to give credit where it is due, but this is a president who has set the tone and the content in unifying the nation together in response to those survivors and unfortunately those who have lost their property and their memories and worse, their lives through these storms of Harvey and Irma. But this president made very clear, as recently as yesterday, Lou, in answer to a question by the press, that we're focused on lives and recovery, not on money right now, not on the shenanigans that Congress and the swamp usually like to play with matters like this. But it's been a real moment for all those who say the president always misses the opportunity to unify. No, he doesn't, and he certainly didn't here. But we're also very struck by the non-governmental response, the volunteers, the neighbors, the strangers, the friends, the not-for-profit operations that are really working overtime to help each other. And this president knows that the recovery and the rebuilding that's around the corner we cannot see. It could take months and years, certainly untold billions of dollars.
You know, I cannot think of a time in which any president has had better partners than Rick Scott and Greg Abbott, the governors of Florida and Texas.
Yes.
An extraordinary response on part of course, the Trump administration, Greg Abbott and his government, Rick Scott and his. And it has to be uplifting to those who have taken a gut shot here by these in dealing with these two storms, having to fight through it all. So that is a wonderful thing to watch, and for all of America to see and experience. I want to turn to 9/11 and this somber, dispiriting anniversary. I know some can make it seem otherwise. For me, it remains an infuriating reminder of all that we haven't done in 16 years. The further sacrifice beyond the 3,000 lives we lost on September 11th and the war that's being carried out against radical Islamists. The president making it clear today that this planet, as he put it, no matter how large, there will be no sanctuary for those who intend this country and indeed Western civilization both harm and destruction.
You know, Lou, this is a president who won in large part because he is tough on terrorism and continues to be. Hillary Clinton at her convention last year referred to the terrorists as, quote, as not as terrorists, never used the word, said are, quote, determined enemies, as if we're playing a rugby match against them. Donald Trump has always been willing to call them who they are and call them out for whom they're trying to destroy, and he remains ever vigilant as commander-in-chief and as president. His first and foremost duty is to keep us all safe and secure, and that begins with keeping the terrorists out of this country and out of threatening Western civilization. Yet
today, Kellyanne, not a member of the administration referred to radical Islamists. They did not name the enemy. And this looks like, if to some, like a further influence on the part of some within the administration, trying to go to the politically correct and the long war doctrine of David Petraeus, trying to engage on the sensibilities of the enemy that is vicious and barbaric and means nothing less than our destruction. Is this a time to be concerned that there has been a reversal on the part of the administration that we will no longer name our enemies. This is a decision primarily coming from generals who couldn't win a war in 16 years in Afghanistan.
Don't read too much into that. I think today was really a solemn day of remembrance with a smaller footprint by the White House. Press and public engagement-wise. This is a day when President Trump and his first 9/11 as president, but obviously his 16th 9/11 as a private citizen, as we all are, commemorating the fallen and also calling out and remembering some true stories of American heroism and helping each other that we don't always see, that camaraderie. But this is a president who's made very clear his joint session speech earlier this year, many of the talks he's given recently, calling out the enemy for who they are, and most importantly, somebody's putting the action behind that. He believes that we should be a sovereign nation with borders. He wants that border wall constructed. He wants Congress to get to the task of paying for it, along with other big legislative priorities like tax reform, immigration reform, including enforcement and E-Verify and other measures, as you know. He spoke very loudly and clearly on DACA last week through his Attorney General and elsewise. And this is a president who also is willing to still repeal and replace Obamacare and start with infrastructure. We just need a Congress that's willing to do that. And we call on the Democrats across the aisle to join in. Some have been very complimentary of the president's leadership throughout these hurricanes and the recovery efforts. But we also need them to do right by their constituents at home who deserve a tax break, who deserve the 29 million Americans who don't have any health care coverage, who were lied to by the past president. And we need a Congress to get serious about safety and security. If I read one more stupid story, Lou, about all the Democrats who are going to run in 2020, they're not even distinguished members in 2017. They haven't done anything in 2017. What are they going to run in 2020 on? So let's give the president the support he needs to keep us all safe and secure and prosperous.
Kellyanne, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Kellyanne Conway, counselor to the president. Kellyanne Conway, up next.